Hey guys, OG Albine here, bringing you guys my UPO Wi-Fi Season 2 draft analysis. Pretty fun league that we are a part of right here. It's actually a league that I help run alongside my buddy Silver Smasher and Curt, so I'm definitely going to link them in the description below. We have a UPO showdown that's been going down for a while. I believe it's going into Season 7 here soon, and this is going to be our second installment of the Wi-Fi portion of things. And I wanted a cool, pretty fun, chill league to upload, especially being that this is an Ubers league, as you can see from spoilers, our first pick right on the screen right there. And I am going to be joining a Ubers league pretty soon that I am going to take a little bit more seriously. So I did want something chill to kind of, adjust to this mode. So when we jump into that league, I can be ready for it because it is a lot different prepping in an Ubers league. I kind of go in with the philosophy of how do I beat his Uber and how do I make my Uber win? Because that's usually what most matchups end up being. Figuring out a way to stop their Titan while running through them with yours. But yeah, this is going to be a league I do take a little bit more chill, so there won't be like, elaborate team builders or anything like that. I'll probably just be uploading battles and giving a quick overview of the team, but I figured it'd be fun nonetheless, and more content is more content, you can't really complain about that. So regardless, let's just jump into our first pick right here, which is going to be Mega Lucario. So we have the third pick overall in the draft, and we allowed some pretty crazy stuff this season. We allowed Mega Salamence, Marshadow, Mewtwo, a bunch of stuff like that, and I really wanted Mega Salamence, but our buddy Silver had the first pick due to championship benefits from winning Season 1, so he was able to pick up that. I definitely don't blame him for taking that first overall. That mon is absolutely busted. And then Marshadow went pick 2, and then pick 3, instead of going Mewtwo, which, obviously is probably the best mon left on the board, I went Mega Lucario because I think it looks a lot more fun. Again, I'm not taking this league super seriously, so I did want to pick up Mega Lucario, but regardless, I think after Mewtwo, I think Mega Lucario was definitely the best mon left on the board, barring maybe like no Geomancy, Xerneas, and Yveltal. I guess you can make an argument for those two, but Mega Lucario is terrifying. Base 145 attack, 140 special attack, I believe is the spread, with adaptability boosted, fighting and steel type moves is terrifying. That stab combination is ridiculous. Base 112 speed, access to Swords Dance, Nasty Plot, great priority in Bullet Punch, Extreme Speed, Vacuum Wave. This thing just cleaves through teams. And I figured building a team around this thing and just kind of clicking buttons with a mon that's, great setup-wise, great wall breaker, and great mix. Those are all mons that's the type of mon I've always had a lot of success with. So I figured, Mega Lucario fits my playstyle perfectly, so I am really, really excited to try this thing out and kind of just click close combat, Meteor Mash, Focus Blast, Flash Cannon, and nuke things. But yeah, with that being said, our next pick was, a good while after. I did want to kind of pick up the best tier 1 left available on the board, and then kind of pair it with something else that, supported Mega Lucario with our pseudo wheel. We're not, obviously exactly at the wheel, but we're pretty darn close to the third pick. So I ended up picking up Garchomp right here. Garchomp's another mon I really love using. Great speed tier, I'm 102. It's a very reliable stealth walker. Really good choice scarfer, potent wall breaker with Swords Dance and just Edge Quake and Dragon coverage. Has access to moves like Fire Blast and things like that, to where it can go mix pretty easily. Really good ability in Rough Skin, so like Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet, Tank Chomp is definitely a viable option. Cool moves like Endure too, so we can get off a little bit more chip if we're about to die. We can get off 2 more turns of Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet. Which is again very, very nice in itself. This is a great choice scarfer, like I said, and it is one of our Z captains, and it's our Z status captain as well. So it can use offensive Z moves and Z status moves, such as like Z Sandstorm, can make this thing a very potent late game cleaner. If we get up a Z Sandstorm and things are sufficiently chipped, or if we can get up a Z Sandstorm and a Swords Dance, not much is really going to be able to stop a Garchomp there, unless they have something with Ice Shard on the back, or they have a really fast Scarfer. Garchomp probably just wins at that point if we do have sufficient chip on things. So Garchomp's a mon I definitely love using, definitely excited to use it. Again, phenomenal speed tier 2 for this team. We have something over those base 110, something just over those base 100s, which is very, very nice. Next up, I want to pair something that went along good with Garchomp and Mega Lucario, and we end up going Rotom Wash. Now, Worm Wash is an amazing ice resist, which Garchomp really does appreciate. Mega Lucario resists ice, but it definitely doesn't want to be the mon that's taking those ice hits. So I figured grabbing a very nice bulky water would be great. Nice middling speed tier at 86. Good ground type switch in if your name isn't Zygarde because of the levitate ability. Or I guess if you're Karen Black with Terravolt or any mon with Mold Breaker, I guess. But otherwise, it is just very, very naturally bulky. above 100 in both defenses. Not very good reliable recovery wise. It only has access to like pain split. But regardless, I think that's enough, honestly, with Rotom Wash. This is one I've used in the past, and I really, really do enjoy it. Has access to, multiple statuses in Toxic, Will-O-Wisp, and Thunderwave, which is great for speed control. And another great thing that this thing offers is momentum. And Mega Lucario absolutely loves momentum. If I can get the slow Volt Switch off, or a Volt Switch on a switch into something with my Rotom Wash and get in my Mega Lucario for free, that's when that thing thrives the most, because then it can get in for free, click Close Combat, or click Meteor Mash, or click Swords Dance, or something like that on another switch, and just absolutely cleave through teams. This also gives us Defog, which is great. Hydro Pump hits hard even unresisted. Just a phenomenal mod. One of my favorite bulky waters in the format. One of my favorite electric types in general, and just a great mod overall to pair with Garchomp and Mega Lucario. Next up, we grabbed Reuniclus. Now, Reuniclus is another mod I've used in the past to great success. It's a great pivot with things like Assault Vest Regenerator if you want to run that set, but the real allure to this thing is going to be Magic Guard. Magic Guard, letting it not take residual damage from, like hazards or great status absorber. It has access to Calm Mind and Acid Armor, so if I'm facing a team without a Dark type, you can pretty much believe that Acid Armor, Calm Mind, Mono Psychic Reuniclus is coming, and it's just going to kind of cleave through a team. There's not much teams without Dark types can do to stop that thing unless they get really creative and prep, which in turn helps the rest of my team if they're so worried about Reuniclus. Pretty nice coverage as well in Signal Beam, Focus Blast, Shadow Ball, Thunder, utility and knockoff, and this actually is going to be our second Z captain. Now, you don't usually see Z Reuniclus all that often, but I figured it was very, very nice on this team because it does weaken those knockoffs from Dark types and stuff like that, which is great. Not having to wait a Cold Barbarian, getting a nuke on top of weakening those Dark type knockoffs, I think that's, very, very valuable in itself. And it allows us to, nuke things at +1/+2 with a, Z Shattered Psyche or something like that if we're not very invested. It allows us to kind of push through walls and checks and stuff like that. That would potentially beat us and stuff. And it also gives me access like Electrium Z with Thunder or Fightium Z with Focus Blast if we want to completely nuke one of our checks that otherwise would switch in very well, and we don't have to risk the miss on top of that. I think that's very, very valuable. So Z Reuniclus is going to be very nice. It also has access to Trick Room, and it's very slow, so this just gives us a little bit more spread out in their speed tiers, because I don't want my whole team to be super fast and then go up against a Trick Room team and get absolutely demolished. So I figured that was, very, very nice to potentially have. And yeah, that's going to be Reuniclus right here. And then paired with Reuniclus, the next mon in our pseudo wheel, we grabbed Ribombee. So this gives us another very, very fast mon. It gives us something over those base 120s, those base 115s. I think Ribombee's base 124. Access to U-turn, which is great, more momentum for our Mega Lucario, especially for those steel types that it lures in very often, because most of the time Ribombee is, taken on very well by steel types. It's something that really does take it on great. And being able to U-turn out into either Mega Lucario and Garchomp is great, because that one gets Mega Lucario and Garchomp guaranteed pretty much a free hit off on their team, which is, never fun to switch into those two. And two, it allows, Ribombee to do well if we can, just nuke those things from Mega Lucario if they don't have any switches and they end up sacking that off. It makes, like, Specs Ribombee or Quiver Dance Ribombee much more threatening. It's a great utility option as well. It has, like, access to, like, Stun Spore and a couple other moves I forget. But Ribombee definitely is a very, very solid mon, and I figured for tier 3, with the speed tier it offered and the access to webs and stuff, it really did help our team and giving us more momentum, more hazards, getting sticky webs up to, make Scarfers that were typically outpacing Lucario and Garchomp, make them slower and able to be picked off. Next up, we have Roserade. So Roserade gives us more hazards, which is great. Gives us spikes and T-spikes, so we have every hazard in the game at this point, which is phenomenal. Gives us a great offensive grass type too. Technician with HP Fire and HP Ice basically makes him, Flamethrower and Ice Beam essentially. With a Life Orb, this thing is a great wall breaker. Base 90 speed tier, which is pretty nice for our team as well. like I said, spikes, T-spikes, can sleep powder, stun spore things. It can be like, an annoying sub-leech set if someone overpress for an offensive set and I just sub-leech all over things. That can be very, very nice as well. Roserake just a very solid mod in general, just adding to a hazard stacking core to where you can kind of stack people and then potentially pick them off with Scarf Chomp or Mega Lucario's priority, so we don't have to worry about Scarfers or mons that are faster and things like that. So I figured Roserake fit the build very, very well. Next up, we picked up Spirit Tomb. Tier 4 Spirit Tomb, very, very nice mon right here. It gives us our Dark type so that we have a switch into, fighting type mons and stuff like that. And Psychics as well. Very good with an AV, very good, Calm Mind. Rest Talk Calm Mind is actually a really scary set if we can run that with, like, Dark Pulse or Shadow Ball. If we don't face a team with a normal type, that's definitely a very viable option. Access to Sucker Punch and Shadow Sneak for priority. Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split if we need it. Just a very, very solid mon, and I think very good value out of tier 4, and I don't like drafting teams without dark types because that makes, mons like Reuniclus, which we have on our team, so I guess we don't have to worry about that as much, but it makes them much less terrifying, and this probably is one of the best Reuniclus checks in the game because it doesn't get fairy coverage to really hit it, and it can't hit it with Focus Blast and things like that, so I figured Spirit Tomb kind of kills two birds with one stone, and getting rid of one of Reuniclus's best checks and giving us a good check to Psychic and Fighting types, by itself. Then next up, I believe we picked up Steelix. So this is a more defensive steel type. I didn't want to have Lucario take on that bulky steel role because I wanted to just click buttons and kill things. So I figured Tier 5 Steelix fits that bill perfectly. It also gives me another ground type. So this really does pair well with my first two picks because it's a ground type that's not weak to HP Ice, which is great. So it gives me a more reliable electric type switch and like Volt Switch Deterrent. It gives me another rocker. It gives me, very, very bulky defensive mon. A better mon to switch into fairies as well. This is, an actual fairy resist on the team. We didn't have one up to this point because Lucario obviously would be part fighting type. I figured Steelix is just a very good defensive glue. I had this season 1 of UPO Wi-Fi actually, and actually won tier 5 MVP. I think it went like 6 and 3, and I brought it, like I did 6 times. So this is one I definitely have a very, very good history with, and a mon that I think fits his team very well and taking pressure off of Mega Lucario and Garchomp in their defensive roles and stuff like that. Next up, we got round 9 Victini, which is phenomenal. This mon is ridiculously good, and getting it in round 9 is an absolute steal. And this kind of helps. This is where picking up a Mega Uber really did help our team out because instead of having that Mega slot, because our Uber slot was taken over by a Mega, we got an extra free pick with 100 extra free points. So we're able to pick up more mons to support our Uber, and Victini does so very, very well. This is a mon that, just absolutely wall breaks teams. It's very, very tough to prep for. Good mix, very good special, physical, good choice scarf with a band. V creates just nuking teams. It also has, the Trick Room option as well if you want to set it for like our Reuniclus, our Steelix, or Spirit Tomb, or if you want to run like the Trick Room V Create set and just lower own speed and continue just nuking things. That's also very, very nice and advantageous. More momentum in U-turn. This mon definitely does force switches, and if we can force switches and get those U-turns off and kind of put our opponent's teams in like a Volt turn cycle right there, I think that's very, very nice. Victini obviously just a really, really good mon overall. With our next pick, I believe we picked up Tyrantrum right here. So we went Double Dragon as well, but I figure this mon does wall break really well on this team, especially being that I think we deal with steel types ridiculously well, and that's one of the only things I can really switch into a Choice Scarf Head Smash from Tyrantrum right here. We have Mega Lucario, Garchomp, Steelix potentially, Victini. Like, steel types, honestly, they do have a very, very rough time versus our team, so that opens the door up for, like, Choice Band, Choice Scarf, Tyrantrum to kind of punch through teams. Even Dragon Dance is a very viable set, and we have access to web, so if we can slow down other teams and, like, throw Choice Band, Tyrantrum out there, it's pretty scary for teams to deal with. So I figured having a niche option to bring in, Double Dragon if Garchomp doesn't necessarily have the matchup that Tyrantrum does, I could definitely see us doing well with this guy right here. And then with our second to last pick, we picked up Braviary. Now, Braviary gives us more momentum, a very good choice scarfer, and something I really want to do is be having a way to abuse those hazards that we did pick up. So we have a very, hazard stack-oriented team, and Braviary does deter Defog, obviously, very, very much with its Defiant ability and very high attack. So if we're like a, Choice Scarf Defiant set, or something like that, and we can lure a defog in. We can kind of just clean up a team with Bravebird or something like that. That could be very, very advantageous. And like I said, we deal with steel types and rock types really, really well, and that's what switches in the Braviary is steel types and rock types. And again, we have Victini, Steelix, Garchomp, Mega Lucario. So I figured Braviary fit very, very well. Bulky bulk up roost sets are also very, very nice, or like sub bulk up and stuff like that. I figure this mon does do very, very well on this team. So I figured picking it up as one of our last free picks would be, super advantageous for us. And then with our final pick of the draft, we picked up Kangaskhan. Now, Kangaskhan is another really, really cool mon. A really good wall breaker with, like, Scrappy and being able to hit ghost types with normal type moves. Also a very, very good bulky Wish Passer. I think it has access to Heal Belt. I could be completely wrong. But I think it's a Cleric, which is very nice for our team. And the Wish Pass is great for mons like Steelix and Rotom Wash if we do want to go for a more bulky approach. But this team definitely can do. It's definitely not like straight. It's offense, but it's not like straight HO, which is great. Giving us our team an option to do so. And, having a more bulky normal type opposed to Braviary is also very, very nice. We have 2 Ghost immunities right here, and then we have Spirit Tomb, so, like, Ghost type Ubers and stuff like that, those big boys aren't super scary for us to deal with, in all honesty. And, yeah, so that is going to be our UPO Wi-Fi Season 2 team. I am very excited to use this team. I think it's really good. It's one of my favorite teams I've ever drafted. It has a lot of really fun mons that I've used before, mons I haven't. Ones that I'm really, really comfortable with and I think can do very, very well. And I think we drafted really well around our big Mega Lucario up at the top there. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy and are very excited for the UPO season, or as excited as I am, honestly, definitely be sure to subscribe so you can catch these games as they go up and all of our other, league games and stuff like that. These should be going up during the middle of the week. I want to say, like, I should be doing them. I think I'm going to put them up every Thursday if I can. There's not like an upload schedule. Obviously, this isn't an upload required league. This is something I'm doing for fun. But, they will go up and stuff like that, around the same time every week. Kind of like NCP, if you guys were around for then. That wasn't an upload required league, but I did get them up, I believe, pretty much every Friday, with a few exceptions and all that stuff. But yeah, again, thank you guys so, so much for watching. I'll catch you.